So, ladies and gentlemen, Comic-Con Scotland, have you had an amazing weekend? Are you ready to wrap it up in a nice big Scottish bow? Oh, we've just been having a nice little chat backstage. He is ready for you. Are you ready for him? Well, just to make it even more grand, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give the one and only Obi Wan Kenobi his very own grand level of entrance from our very own Star Wars cosplay legends. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his guard of honor. Your hands high if you've not got a phone in them. I don't want you to clap it out. Clap, 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 clap. You can be louder than that, Scotland. As they are taking their place on stage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have all been together, literally devouring the atmosphere of Comic-Con Scotland, courtesy of the wonderful Monopoly events. Can we have a massive round of applause for all our sensational Guard of Honor? But now is the time you have been waiting for. Let me ask you a little question, Scotland. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we proudly bring to you the one, the Obi Wan and only Mr. Ewan McGregor! Ladies and gentlemen, Ewan McGregor!
Hello there.
You have just stole my line.
How's it going? It's been such a great time meeting you all. I've had such a great time. Nice to see you.
It's been absolutely amazing having you. On behalf of the amazing Monopoly Events team, how has it been being back home here in Scotland?
It's just meant the world to me. It's been great to come back. I got a couple of days at home with my mum and dad in Crieff. And then I came here to Edinburgh, and I was so happy to be here with you all. It's just been a great couple of days. I can hardly speak because I've been signing in there over the noise in here and trying to speak to you all, and I can hardly speak anymore.
And this is the first Comic-Con that you have done outside of the US. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, I only started doing Comic-Cons when with the Star Wars, when the Obi Wan Kenobi series premiered. It premiered at Celebration in Anaheim earlier this year, I guess. And so I'd never attended a Comic-Con before, so I decided to appear at that one for a couple of days. And I just had a great time. I found it was really special to meet the fans and to have a chance to interact with people, albeit very shortly. I know if you've come for an autograph or a photograph with me over the last couple of days, it's awful short, and it's frustrating that we don't have time to chat to each other more, but still, nonetheless, it's very special, and it feels great to meet the fans. So.
And I'm sure it's special to each and every one of you. Have you enjoyed meeting Ewan?
Thank you.
Oh, we love it. We love it. Well, Seeing as we were talking about the Anaheim Comic Con, obviously you living over in the States and now being back home here in Scotland, what do you miss most about all the beautiful heritage that is Scotland and the things that we can give you? I mean, are we missing sort of Tunnock's tea cakes and sort of Tunnock's caramel wafers?
I mean, the thing I miss the most about Scotland, of course, is my family who are sitting over here, my mum and dad and my brother and his wife Sarah and my nephew and my niece, and being able to pop round for a cup of tea to see your family is something that I don't have when I'm in the States. So I miss that. I miss the landscape. I miss the air in Scotland. I miss the smell of the rain and the smell of the green and the colours of Scotland and the people and the culture. I could just keep going on and on. What am I doing living over there? Anyway.
He'll be back, he'll be back. We can keep him going and he'll be back. We love it, we love it. Well, we are hot on the heels of the release of one of the most talked about TV shows of all time coming to our screens in the form of Disney Plus's Obi Wan Kenobi. Has anybody watched it? It's been 20 years since you literally derobed, I guess. Well, firstly, put on the robes of the Jedi Master. But what was it like after 20 years to get them back on and get yourself back into the swing of things?
It was surprisingly easy to slip back into the role of Obi-Wan. And at the same time, it might not have been. The first thing I had to do for the new series was once we'd had scripts and we knew when we were going to shoot it. Deborah Chow, who directed them all, she's the most amazing director, brilliant to work with. And she wanted me to read with some of the cast members, some of the people who were auditioning, Vivian for the young Leia, and so there was 2 or 3 kids that I had read with, and then there was 2 or 3 people who were reading for Reva. And so I went down to the studios where we shot the series in Manhattan Beach on a Sunday, because the Mandalorian shoots down there, and we borrowed one of their stages. You know, we just had a bit of Mandalorian-ness behind us. And I went down there, and this is like, we finished episode 3 in 2003. So it'd been a long time. And I went down there, and I didn't think much about it. And I had the scenes that we were going to read with these other actors who were auditioning for their role. And I was already cast, you know. So I went down there, and I went into the dressing room, and there was all the Obi-Wan's clothes. They weren't the exact clothes that I'd worn before, but they were like an approximation. There was a brown cloak and some beigeness and some brown boots. And they left me, and I just stood there in front of it going, oh my God. It was kind of a moment, you know, it was a bizarre moment to see those clothes. So I put them all on, and I walked out onto the set, and I could... What's happened since I finished the prequels is that a lot of the cast, a lot of the crew are real diehard Star Wars fans who have ended up working in Star Wars because they love it so much. So when I walked out in my Obi-Wan costume, it was kind of, you could feel it crackling on the set, you know. And then it came to start reading it with these other actors, and I totally didn't have Obi-Wan's voice at all. It was just some general English that I was doing, but not really very Obi-Wan, you know. So I realized I had to do a little bit of work. And that's when I went back and watched a lot of Alec Guinness again. That's what I always have to do, is sort of get right back to the beginning and watch all of Alec's work in the original Star Wars films. And then I like to watch a lot of his early films when he was younger. And there's some amazing, I mean, he's just the most amazing actor, a British actor. And the fact that I get to try and be like him is a great honor for me. So by the time we started filming, I think I'd got back in his voice, you know. To an absolute T, honestly. And it's not just, and you might not notice it, but it's mannerisms as well with Alec Guinness that you pull off so beautifully as well, right from the Genesis. And we have completely blitzed it, and I'm sure the rest of you will. But me and my son sat there, literally mouth agape, 10 out of 10 from us. And that's not blowing smoke. So thank you so much for bringing it back to us. Give him a round of applause. We love it. One of the characters that you did work with, that you've just highlighted, and sorry, it's not in the questions, however, it was just a little one.
How was little Leia to work with? Because she
lovely.
was awesome.
She was amazing. I mean, what a pressure to be on a little person's shoulders, you know, to be the young Leia, to be the young Carrie Fisher. It's a lot. And she was just brilliant. You know, she was so confident, and she really worked with, Deborah was brilliant with her. I mean, when you are working with a child, it's different. The kind of direction that they need is different from an experienced adult actor, I guess. But she was so good, you know. She was quite cheeky with me, you know. There was a scene in the beginning of, I think it was at the end of 2 or the beginning of 3, when we come off a spaceship where the mining town, I don't know the names. You'll all know the names. It's so embarrassing.
Feel free to shout them out. Feel free.
And we're walking along, and I talk about how it used to be a mining town and the Empire's taken over. Anyway, we had a long, when we finished the scene, we had a long reset. You know, I had to go back to her, and it was hot, and I'd be wandering back, and she'd always be on the marks first, you know, and she'd always be, I've been waiting for ages.
The cheek of Leia.
She was very cheeky, yeah.
Amazing.
But she did a great job. I mean, you can see she really pulled it off. She is the young Leia, but she also made it her own, and I thought that was really, really good of her. Really great.
It was truly endearing to watch the two of you together on screen. It was fantastic. So one of the questions that I did want to pose is, could we see a return of Obi Wan Kenobi for a season 2? What do you reckon?
I hope so. I really do. I'd be surprised if they didn't want to do it.
It would be waste.
I mean, I think you made it very successful. You know, the show was hugely watched, and from what I can gather from meeting you and meeting people, it was much liked. And so I'm sure they'll want to do it again. As it stands at the moment, they haven't approached me for a second season, but I'm really up for it, so hopefully they will, yeah.
Disney needs to pull the finger out, basically. We love it. Well, speaking of sort of the complete encompassing of the Star Wars universe, have you watched any of the other series? So we've got Boba Fett, we've got The Mandalorian, we've got brand new Andor that's just started.
Yeah, I've always liked The Mandalorian, because The Mandalorian came out just before we started, or we were in pre-production on our Obi Wan series when it came out, and I was really blown away by The Mandalorian, as I'm sure you all are. It's such a great series, and it really brought Star Wars back alive for me in a way. And I watched some of the Boba Fett series, but I sort of got waylaid with work and some other commitments. And Andor, I'm waiting to have some time to start, because I know quite a lot of people that worked on that series, and I've just been working and running around, so I'm looking forward to that a lot, though. I really am.
Very exciting. It's a tremendous series. Have any of you seen it yet? Checked it out? Brilliant.
I mean, they shot some of it here in Scotland, didn't they? The Andor series, so... Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to bring it back home. It's always good. Well, speaking of bringing it back home, being a proud Mancunian, and when doing my research, I noticed that there was a certain Mancunian music legend that you had a little lightsaber battle with when you first got the role of Obi Wan Kenobi. Yes, the one and only Noel Gallagher. We got some Oasis fans in. Good. Do you want to tell us about the training as to how sort of physically demanding getting into the role of Obi-Wan, and the lightsaber training and the fun that you'd have in that kind of mode?
Yeah, it's a massive part of it. It certainly was with the prequels. In all the prequels, there were some huge lightsaber fights, and we worked with a fight arranger called Nick Gillard, who was a brilliant stunt arranger, and he found some really great swordsmen. And the interesting thing about the fights in Star Wars is it's pretty particular. The sword fights, they borrow from some martial arts, but it's pretty particular to its own style. And Nick Gillard sort of developed a style for the very young Obi Wan Kenobi, and for Liam, for Qui-Gon and I, and for Ray Parks, who played... I
like the way that we got a little yay for Ray Parks.
Ray Parks,
Ray Parks, a legend, yes.
So, is he up there? Oh no, that's me.
No, don't worry, he's not coming to get you. Darth Maul is safe.
We trained for months. I mean, there's a lot of fight training, and it's partly what gets you into the whole Star Wars feeling anyway, is doing that work. And then, and this one, we worked with Jojo, who's an amazing fight coach, and he looked at all the fight stuff that we'd done in the prequels, and he sort of took Obi-Wan's fighting style and made him older, you know? He made we had to tell a story of Obi-Wan finding his strength again from being broken at the beginning of the series. So he was very artful, I thought, about how he did that, making me slower and like more economical with the strokes to begin with. And then at the end, with that classic big fight with Vader at the end of 6, it's all bets are off, you know, by that point.
It was brilliant and so masterfully done. We loved every minute of it. Taking that journey with you, it was fantastic.
Great.
Now, one of the most amazing little things that popped into my mind as we do a nice little segue from Obi-Wan to OBE. Yes, Ewan McGregor, OBE, ladies and gentlemen. We love that. We want to talk about the wonderful work that you do with the UNICEF charity and how the power of celebrity can truly help those in need around the world.
I've always looked after Chaz here in Scotland, the Children's Hospice Association of Scotland, for a long, long time. I was given an award for my work in Trainspotting, and when I went to this award, Chaz were benefiting from the evening, and they showed a video, and I was really moved by the work that they do, helping children with life-shortening illnesses and the work that they do with those children, but also with their families. So I'd been working with Chaz, and I still do, try and help them out in any way I can. And then when Charlie and I came to do our first motorcycle trip called Long Way Round, we just wanted to... Oh, thank you. Very much. We wanted to have... we wanted to sort of help to tell another story than just the two hairy bikers going around the world, you know. So we were looking for a charity, and UNICEF was absolutely our first choice. We both have kids, and we know that UNICEF's absolutely focused on helping children in need around the world. So we met them, and we asked them to show us some projects along our route. And we were just blown away by what we saw. The kids, first of all, that we met at those very different projects in different places on our route. And then the volunteers that work with UNICEF. And I think I was most impressed with the sort of breadth of their work. They work at ground level with children in need in war zones or after natural disasters or who are living in poverty or whatever it may be, kids who need education or kids who are displaced. They're always there, and the people that are working with those kids are always the most amazing people, you know. What an amazing thing to dedicate your life to do. I'm just gobsmacked by them, really. And then at the same time, UNICEF work at government level with government in different countries to try and stop what's putting the children in harm's way in the first place. So there's something about that sort of depth of their work that I think is really essential. And after Long Way Round, I just told them I'd like to help, and I've done so. You know, people like now come and listen to me sometimes, or I'm interviewed, and as well as being able to talk about my work, I'm also able to talk about their work, and that's I think something that's quite important. So I continue to do so, and as you all know, at the moment, there's more need probably for UNICEF's work than we could have ever imagined in the world with climate change and the disasters that have been caused by flooding and overheating of countries, and then of course the conflict in Ukraine. Their work is really needed, so I continue to help them in any way I can, and I would also ask you to do so if you can, because every penny counts with UNICEF.
Definitely, definitely. Round of applause, please. And if you can, please do give generously. You can make online donations, and Ewan will smile brightly for you just like this. It works, we got it. Perfect. Well, seeing as we're here in Scotland, it would be remiss of us if we didn't touch on a true Scottish institutional movie. And it's not just a Scottish institutional movie, because they show this in movie classes all over the world. And I'm talking about Danny Boyle's classic Trainspotting. Yes. Now, do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
Yeah. You will in a minute? The toilet scene.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about whether, and just how was it to shoot? Was it as hard as it was to shoot as it was to watch? Because every time I watch it, I get to that point and I'm like, I need to fast forward it. Yeah.
It was quite, hello, behind the speaker. The toilet scene was shot in different places. So we shot the entries into the toilet scene was in an actual betting shop. I think it was, we shot most of the film in Glasgow, and we did this running stuff on Princes Street, obviously in Edinburgh. But because we got money from the Glasgow Film Fund, we shot most of it there. And so I think it's a betting shop, I forget where, in Glasgow. So we did that leading to the toilet. And then the actual, I don't know if you want to know about do you? Okay. So then there was a set on this, we shot in the Old Will's cigarette factory in Glasgow, where we had a couple of floors of the factory, and we had all our sets there. My bedroom was there with the sort of expanding walls, and my flat was there, where I come back in wet with all the carry-out and everything. And a lot of the interiors were there in this ex-cigarette factory. And so they had built the interior of the toilet there, and that was just a disgusting wet toilet. And then as I went in the cubicle, there was the toilet, which looked grim. And people think it's chocolate, but it was just paint. It was like brown, painty stuff that was stuck on the sides. And then then I did all the stuff in there until I go into the toilet. So we shot the shot from the front. Some of you have got it on your T-shirts, which made me laugh, of me sitting on the toilet. And so we did all that stuff, and then they had another set, which was just to be shot from the side. So the toilet was just the side of the toilet, and the toilet was actually cut in half. And then there was a chute, like a little chute that went down. It was like built off, 6-7 feet off the floor. And there was little bags of water taped inside the rim. And as I sort of go in, the props guy, Pat, I remember his name, would bang the bags of water so it would like splash out a little bit. But we did several takes of me going down, and I was just going straight down, And then everyone was happy with it. Danny thought we had it, and I remember everyone was happy. And I was thinking, if you really went in and you had to get round the U-bend, you'd have to turn around, So I said, let me do one more. So that's the one they used, is when I go down, and then my feet turn around as I'm going round the U-bend. And that was it. I think there was just those two sets that sold the story. And then, of course, the underwater stuff.
Yeah, but that is such mastery of you, just to be able to turn yourself. Because, of course, it's got a U-bend.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, I'm going to pose a hypothetical question to you. Ewan McGregor is going to a dinner party, where the only other guests at the dinner party are all the characters you have played in all your films. Who would be the character that you'd make a beeline to go and sit next to?
I think I would like to sit between, maybe, there's a film I made called Little Voice, and I played a character in that who I still think is really endearing and interesting guy, who had a pigeon called Dwayne. Dwayne? Can't do it with my voice. And then on the other, I'd like to sit next to him, and on the other side, maybe the character I played in Son of a Gun, because they're both really, really, he's really, really nice, and he's really not nice. So maybe that'd be an interesting...
Full-on contrast.
Yeah.
Just whichever side you're looking at, you got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other.
Right.
It'd be a great dinner party.
That would be a good dinner party, maybe.
I love that. Well, that could be the reimagining for a new film. And let's talk about reimagining films, because you've starred in quite a few reimagined classics. So Lumiere as Beauty and the Beast. I'm looking for it behind me. Beauty and the Beast fans in? Yes. We played Danny Torrance in Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
We rocked it as Christopher Robin. And obviously Obi Wan Kenobi, but are there any other classic movies or roles that if remade, you think you could sink your teeth directly into?
I don't know. It's a difficult thing to, I never sort of like, I'm not a producer in terms of finding work to make, right? I produce stuff that I'm involved in anyway sometimes, but I don't go out, so I don't really know. What's next for me is always what I read that grabs my fancy. I would love to do another Christopher Robin story. I really loved playing him, and I loved working with Pooh,
And just to reiterate, we are not talking about Trainspotting.
I've got him at home. We had a real Winnie the Pooh. The Pooh that you see in the film, of course, was enhanced, generated by computer, but we had the real version on set, and I've got him at home, and he lives in my kitchen, and he's in my life every day, Winnie the Pooh. So and I like playing Christopher Robin. So I would love to do another one, if anyone's listening from Sony Classics or whatever it was. And then I don't know what other ones I know what I'm doing next. I'm about to go off and make a movie in North Carolina called Mother Couch. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning to go to North Carolina to start. And that's a really interesting, small, independent film that I encourage you all to go and see when it comes out, because it's quite an odd brain twister of a movie, but I think really good. And then after that, I'm going to be playing the Count in the. There's a great novel called A Gentleman in Moscow, that's set in the 1920s during the sort of revolution in Russia. And that's an amazing book and an amazing character, so I'm doing that next year. And other than that, I've got a film I made with my daughter. Clara and I play father and daughter in a movie that's somewhat based on our last 5 years of our life. And it was a very moving experience to work with her. And that film's called You Sing Loud, I Sing Louder. And that's going to be coming out sometime next year. And very shortly, there's a film called Raymond and Ray that I made with Rodrigo Garcia, that's with Ethan Hawke. And that's cool as well. That's coming out very soon.
Brilliant. I love the way that we talked about some co-stars there, Ethan Hawke, because that leads me nicely into my next question. If you were to have to plan a bank heist with one of your co-stars, who would you pick? Who's the most fiendish? Who's the one that would...
Oh, the one who would be the best at it?
Yeah, of course, yeah, you don't want to get caught.
Oh, I see. Oh, I don't know. I just thought, who would it be fun to rob a bank with?
Feel free, mate, wherever
I think
you want
it'd be
to grab
fun
it.
to rob a bank with Cameron Diaz.
Good shout, Cameron Diaz fans in.
Yeah. But I think if we're gonna get away with it for sure, probably Hayden and I would do best, you know.
You knew they wanted you to say that as well. I love that. Oh, so we are coming to a beautiful conclusion. We are going to do some quick fire questions now with Ewan McGregor on some one-word answers. So I'm going to give you a list. You can embellish on it as you would like, but you can feel free to just throw one word out. Oh, I love this.
Okay.
You guys ready? You've just heard his name, Hayden Christensen.
Brother.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Nice, warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Star Wars.
Yep.
With thousands and thousands. Yep. Biscuits or cakes?
Biscuits.
All-time favorite TV show?
The Professionals.
Spotify playlist or podcasts?
Both. I don't know, both.
Yeah. Moulin Rouge?
Or... Oh, I see.
No,
Moulin Rouge. Oh, that's like fairy tale. That was like a fairy tale.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
One of my all-time faves. Haggis or fish supper?
Well, haggis is better for you. You know, probably, maybe. It's maybe quite a close thing, but let's go haggis.
All-time favorite movie?
I think the one that I come back to always is there's a film called Breaking Away that I watched when I was a kid a lot. Dennis Quaid's in it, and it's about cycling, and I love that. I still love that film. It's a film that's never aged. Also, I was really, when I was a kid, watched a lot of films like The Great Escape, or, but probably my favorite, the best, I don't know, it's a difficult question. There's too many.
Yeah. Reality TV.
Yeah,
You like it?
Yes.
Binge watch.
Binge watch a lot of it, yeah. I try not to. I like to think I don't, but I do.
We all do. There's something wrong with us all.
Yeah.
Favorite song to sing in the shower?
It would be an Oasis probably number or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going out.
Round our way.
Ooh, round our way.
I sang that in A Life Less Ordinary, and I like that song.
Tune, banger. Going out or staying in?
Staying in, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
Hello there.
Hey! And last but by no means least, Scotland.
Oh, Bonnie Scotland. Oh, I love it.
It's amazing. Well, we are about to wrap things up with you. Would you like to say anything in conclusion to our amazing guests? Would you like to do one?
Does anyone have a burning question to ask first?
Let's see, one question. We've got a roving mic right there. We are just doing one.
Did you draw me the most extraordinary drawing?
I did, yes.
That's
What's
a
your
keeper.
name?
That is a keeper, that one.
What's
Yay.
your name?
My name's Claudia. Hello. We hear a lot about how good it was to reunite with Hayden and make more Star Wars with him. But I wanted to ask if there is a potential, because I read in an interview that the original pitch for Obi Wan Kenobi, it had a lot more Commander Cody in it. And he was supposed to hang out with little Luke and everything. But I wanted to ask whether if they did make a season 2, would you like to work with Temuera Morrison again in a larger role rather than just like a cameo?
Yeah, it's not necessarily true that that existed before. I read all of the drafts and I don't recall that. It's true that the story began as a story between Obi-Wan and Luke. That's true. And then part of the way through development, there was a very clever move to make it a story about him and Leia, and I think it was a really good one. It was a great idea. But I love working with all the Star Wars, all my Star Wars brothers and sisters, and so I would be happy to work with him again. Absolutely, yeah, it would be great.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
amazing question, Claudia. Can we have a round of applause, please, for our question?
Yeah, let's do one more. This side.
One more, this side, this time.
Okay,
You
there's
feel free, pick.
Lady here, yeah.
Hang on, you need the. I love the way she got so giddy. She,
What was it like playing Edward Bloom in Big Fish? I wonder. What was your experience like with that?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved working with Tim Burton so much, and we shot in Alabama in the South, in America, and I really liked it there. The whole atmosphere working with Tim Burton is sort of dreamlike, as you would imagine. The movies are fantastical, and especially the character that I played. He was like the fantasy of the older character, the older me, you know. And it was just wonderful. He's like a mad professor, Tim, and he'd be really impatient waiting for things to be ready to shoot, because he loves to shoot. He'd be tearing his hair out, but as soon as we started to shoot, it was like he gave us all the time in the world, and he loved us to play between action and cut. Was just like, he was just whatever came to us was what we did, and he would encourage that kind of sense of play, you know. But I love that film. It's a really special film for a lot of people, and I know it really touched a lot of people's hearts, as it does mine. It's a great story about fathers and sons. My dad's just sitting over there, and that's nice. And I know that this meant a lot to a lot of other people, you know. So that's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Give
much.
her a round of applause. Are you ready to be involved in something that has never been done before? This is the world's biggest selfie with Ewan McGregor. If you can, please stand up. That's it. Watch that camera. It's very expensive. It's worth more than my house. Ladies and gentlemen, we give to you the one, the only Ewan McGregor!
Thank you so much. It's meant the world to me to be back here in Scotland with you all these last 2 days. So thanks so much. I'll see you all again. Take care. Bye-bye.